What would you do if you woke up in a room with no doors, no windows, no way out, and the only thing in front of you was a glowing glass of blue liquid? Do you drink it and give your soul to cosmic beings, or do you slowly die of thirst? That's the psychological thriller we're building today. In this episode, we're diving deep into the characters' motivations, the twisted logic behind these alien entities, and the choices that'll drive our story forward. And by the end, we're going to have a fully fleshed out outline that's going to make the actual screenplay terrifying and real. Stick around. This is where the story comes to life. Welcome into the Phanerama. We should probably go through what we had written and try to spark our memory, and then we can kind of go back and forth with us and Logan and try to find the best kind of theme and the best direction for the character and for the story, right, based off of what we already have. Okay. So
sounds like a plan.
So the story beats, I'll just read through them real fast. Joel wakes up in his room, but the room has no windows, doors, or any visual way out. He's trapped. Therefore, he begins to panic, yells, slams his fists against the wall, trying to escape. But he gets tired and loses hope. Therefore, he stops trying to get someone's attention and begins to strategize how else he can get out. He starts talking to himself, walking through the last things he remembers, but he doesn't remember anything. He doesn't even remember who he is. Therefore, he stands up and punches the wall. His hand goes through all the way to his armpit. He pulls his arm back out of the hole and looks down at his bloody fist. Then he slowly glances through the hole, but behind the wall is a black void. Therefore, Joel looks terrified. He glances down at his hand again, but his blood is now black. Therefore, his eyes widen with fear. But all of a sudden, Joel hears a whisper from the center of the room. And that's kind of that thing that spurs us for, it moves the plot forward. Therefore, he snaps his head to where he hears the noise. There's a glass jar with a blue liquid that appears in the exact center of the room. He looks at it curiously, then turns back to the hole in the wall, but the hole's gone. Therefore, he brings his hand up to feel where the hole once was, but his hand is no longer bloody. So he brings his hand up into a camera and it's not bloody anymore. Therefore, he looks back at the blue liquid and just stares at it. He sits in the corner of the room and just stares, but he falls asleep. Therefore, he snaps awake hours later. He looks around the room and everything is the same, but he has hunger pains and his mouth is dry. Therefore, he glances back at the blue liquid. So the goal, what the antagonist wants, which is these alien creatures or demonic beings, what have you, they need this person to drink the liquid willingly in order for them to consume this person's soul.
Right. And
that's as vague as we're getting with the description, because it's supposed to be something that's maybe mysterious. Okay. But just for the sake of the actual character's story arc, the thing I keep going back to is the thing that makes the character drink just hunger pains and thirst, or I feel like it has to be something deeper than that, something really psychological. Well, yeah, he wakes up in this room, he tries to escape, he realizes that it's kind of a magical room, and then he hears a whisper and something appears in the middle of the room. So it's I feel like he's putting it together. If he's not putting it together, at least the audience is, that he was put there by something, an entity. Right. And so he's not going to just be like, whoa, I'm thirsty, I'm going to drink that. I wouldn't. I'd be like, yo, screw this. I'm just going to sit here and wait it out. I'll sit here as long as I have to. And so the thing that gets me to drink, I feel like shouldn't be just, oh, well, now it's been 3 days and I'm going to die, because I feel like he has to make that choice to so maybe, I think, Robert, you were talking about maybe these creatures start taunting him or getting into his mental space and making him think things.
Yeah, I feel like something, maybe the thing communicates the only exit is through death or something. And like the drink, I think we talked about that last time, is like he knows that if he drinks the drink he's gonna die, which that added like a whole nother layer to him wanting to drink it. Or
Oh yeah, and the suffering.
Yeah.
Because he's just gonna starve to death and die of thirst, or he could end it in an instant.
So
And he chooses not to end it.
So he would know for sure that if he drank it, it would kill him, or he was just speculating that.
I think Robert was right. I think we dabbled with the idea of them actually communicating with him and telling him like,
Oh, okay.
if you drink this, you'll die and your suffering will be over. And I think that's the conundrum, is that if he doesn't drink it, they can't consume his soul, so he's like safe, right? Or his, or whatever that means.
Right.
And if he does drink it, then they are able to consume his soul. So like, even, you know, if there is somewhere where we're going afterwards, he's not going to be there because he's going to be inside of a celestial's tummy. Well, Logan, what do you think of these beats so far when it comes to like the actual pacing of the film and like what happens and the choices that the character makes?
I think so far it's pretty good. I going forward, because I think everything so far has been really good. But I think going forward, we might play into like, because you know how they say normal functioning people, if you put them in in solitary for like up to 3 days or more, it can be like permanently damaging to your brain. So he doesn't know how long he's been in here because he has no sense of tracking time. So I think maybe in like after the midpoint, the major conflict is he starts actually losing his mind and he can't decipher whether or not things are actually happening to him or not.
Oh, dude. What is it called again?
I love that.
We were literally just talking about it. The condition where you like actually lose your mind. Brother. Oh my gosh.
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the name either.
I was going to make a funny joke, but I controlled myself.
Isn't it like P something? Doesn't it have a P? Like a...
Psychosis.
Yeah.
Psychosis.
That does start with a P.
Yeah, he could fall into psychosis. That'd be kind of sick.
Yeah.
And then that could explain. Logan, I told you about the flexing wall thing and like the entity in the room.
Yeah. That was a good idea too. I like that.
That could play into his psychosis.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Okay. So some beat ideas that we had: the walls flex and sweat. Which, dude, Logan, I'm gonna share these videos with you that I shared with Robert yesterday of just like people using using AI like to assist with VFX, and it's like, dude, game changer. Like the walls flexing and sweating, I feel much more confident now that we could pull something like that off with the tools that we have available to us.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I even considered taking all the footage from Doppelganger and bringing it into an upscaler that can like improve the quality of it.
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
And just like cut it together, or just take the final cut and put it up in there and just hopefully maybe it'll enhance the footage and make it look a little bit more how I imagined.
Yeah.
I think that story-wise it's pretty awesome.
Well, because even just recently, I'm sure you've seen the VO3 AI, like all the stuff people have been making with that. And I know it's you can obviously tell, like if it's two people talking, you can there's a little hint of it, you can tell it's AI. But I feel like if you were going to use that for like maybe something that is impossible to do with like an actual camera, or like maybe like what Robert was talking about, the creature, maybe you could show this tiny room and this giant void using that somehow. But there's possibilities are endless. You can pretty much tell it to do whatever you want. And now it has sound design too.
I think that what people have been using it for recently, most people are using it wrong, are thinking about it wrong. They're trying to create entire movie scenes or character movement within the AI. And really its best use case is to take real people actually acting and then using the AI to help with the background or help with an effect that's happening. And this one guy made a trailer for a movie. He wrote the trailer like out. It looks like a really cool movie if he actually made the movie. But the first like 3 scenes or clips that he has in the trailer are all real, that he actually shot with real people in real locations. And then he does this crazy drone shot of this sci-fi world that matches the color and all the tone and everything of the first shots. And then he does a couple more real shots. And then he does a couple of back-to-back AI shots. And the integration of them all together, and then he replaces the background of a real person like sitting in a real location with real lighting, and then he replaces the background or extends it with AI. And then there's another guy who has real footage of a car driving and then takes the last clip and brings it in and has the car like catch on fire and spin out of control. So it's real footage that then transitions into the accident, the thing that you can't really do.
Yeah.
So that I feel like is the best use case for it. And then not only that, but you can design characters, 3D characters with AI, like create the actual characters and then bring them into Blender and then use AI to motion track your body and then use AI to change your voice in a voice changer. And then you have to then know how to composite it all together and make an actual film out of it. It's just, you don't need Disney to do it anymore. It's like we could do that between the 3 of us and make an actual feature film using those tools. But we're not just saying, make a movie for me and make it good, because that's not how that's what people are doing. So that's why all the shit that you see is crap.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Rant
actually,
over.
It's insane.
Sorry, I get so passionate about filmmaking. I just go on rants sometimes.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Okay, a child appears and begins playing with him. Then she tries convincing him to drink with him. She drinks the liquid and gets let out. Oh, I forgot we wrote that. Because I was like, oh, maybe I could get my daughter to come act in it.
Yeah, and then that's why he was trying to figure out if it was a mind game or if it was real.
Yeah, and then he doesn't believe that it's true because of something she said that doesn't add up, which I think is cool. He hallucinates something that doesn't make sense. The lights go out, it's pitch black. You can only hear what Joel's doing. He's breathing, he's moving around. That was a cool idea. That was your idea, that like a portion of it is just literally darkness.
Oh, that would be so freaky. No,
you'd have to really dial in the Foley for that.
Yeah, true. Whoa.
He begins talking to himself, literally multiple versions of himself, walking around the room, arguing with each other. And then a phone appears, it rings, he answers, it's his mom. He's having a good conversation with her. Then she starts trying to convince him to drink the liquid. His voice slowly evolves into something that's unrecognizable, her voice. Okay, so we kind of did like hit on the idea of him losing his mind with all of this like hallucinations. Okay, so how should this progress then? So after he sees what's happening, that there's a void outside, his hand becomes healed. The blue liquid appears, and he is starting to put together that there is something that wants me to do this. Right now, it's still a mystery of what we want. Maybe the midpoint can be like the communication between him and the entity or something like that. And then I don't know how the progression of time should go. Like, should we jump a day ahead, like, and show the progression through the way he looks, or like cut to like a close up of his, like cut to black after something happens, cut to black, then cut to a close up of his lips and they're so dry, like, and he's just like shivering.
What if instead of, just an idea, what if instead of the thing talking to him, it like under the glass there was like a note, just like a really like disgusting looking note that just said like, that just gave him the information that we would have the thing tell him.
That could work. But what if they're talking, but we don't understand, like the audience doesn't understand what the voice is saying, but he does. And he like,
oh, that could be cool if we did it right. That could be really cool.
And I'm almost imagining like the way that the Bene Gesserit sound when they're talking with the voice in Dune. Like it's almost like a shadowy like echo that comes in almost backwards, like I don't know, I can't do it.
No, I know what you mean though. Yeah.
Robert, you know what would be kind of creepy? Because I know you said you wanted the feel of it to be like grungy, right? Like you want him to be in this like gross kind of grungy box.
Yeah.
What if like through, I mean, I don't know how you would do it. What if like holes appear like when they want to tell him a message, like just a tiny little hole in the top of the wall or something like that, like kind of like a speaker pattern, and it's like a PA system. Like you remember in that Backrooms like one that we played, like a really old, like way too high pitched tone, like kind of staticky, I don't know, like a message overlaying.
That could be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Ooh. Kind of like, that could be kind of cool, because like what if I'm gonna say it would make him feel more comfortable in the room if he heard a voice that sounded like human. But then it's like, why would they tell him that the drink would kill him? But then maybe they don't tell him. That's why they're trying to convince him through these like hallucinations.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I like the idea of the PA speaker, but I don't know if that makes sense for the. Well, we had that a phone appears in the middle. I don't know. Yeah, I like the analogness of it. I feel like the analogness of it is for his sake, though, and not for the God's sake. Like, they put him there. They don't need a loudspeaker or transmitter to communicate with him if they were going to communicate.
Yeah, true.
Because that's the other thing that's why I suggested it, because in my head I was imagining it like, you know, Robert, the best example I can think of is like, you know how in like a Meat Canyon video, it doesn't really make sense. Like, nothing that's happening really makes sense, but you're still creeped out by it. Like obviously Ronald McDonald doesn't have like a dungeon or something like that in his restaurant that is in the ball pit or whatever. But
yeah,
just like maybe the entity doesn't even need to make sense to the viewer. Like, what if in the box, like you said, he's in the void, that creature that you showed, like maybe we don't need to know how he got there. Maybe all you need to understand is that he's there, and you're watching this person like kind of deteriorate from the experience.
That could be kind of sick. I almost wonder, like, what if he hallucinates the drink is something else, and like when he goes to drink it, it cuts from like him and his hallucination, and then like a shot from the corner of the room with no like music or anything, just like the air, and it just shows that it's like still what it is, but he's like envisioning it like almost like in movies when they like people in the desert hallucinate like giant water pools, and they're like, oh, and they jump in it, it's like a big old thing of cactuses. It's like, I don't know, that could be like just maybe something of that dynamic could be kind of cool.
What if the room started filling with water almost, and he's trying to avoid like getting it in his mouth, so he's keeping his head above the water the whole time until he can't, to where he's swimming. Then he gets to the top, and obviously the room, like, he goes under the water, and he's holding his breath for as long as he can, and maybe right when he like goes to open his mouth, he either does drink it, and then maybe we cut to just him on the floor with like the blue liquid coming out of his mouth, or he doesn't drink it and he wakes up and like spits out the liquid that he had in his mouth. like from the hallucination.
That could be kind of cool.
Dude, I love that idea, but we're also
I know
we can't film that.
that's a crazy like shot. Now that I'm thinking about it, I was just like, that would be so cool to do.
That's almost the perfect thing to do because of it's water and he's starving or like dying of thirst, and that would be the perfect scene to actually film. But I don't think we could pull that
Right.
off. Even with AI, I don't know if we can pull that off.
Yeah.
The only way I could imagine is for the scene that he's actually underwater, maybe like in Robert's pool or something like that, and then you color grade it to the same color grading that the box is in, because you might not be able to tell, because like I mean, if we got desperate enough, or if we got, like we actually really went full in on it, we could make a makeshift box, like, or at least like a box like corner, so to show, and then put that in the pool, and then color grade it so that it looks like he's still in this rigid box structure and not like a smooth pool.
I'll do you one better. We build a raft that is like the corner of the room. We set up the camera and then we put it in the pool with like a little thing to allow the water to leak, and then the actor stands in there and it slowly sinks, and we only shoot the corner of the room, and to the camera it looks like the room is filling up and they're like, ah!
Yeah, that would be really cool.
That'd be sick. That could be cool.
That would be the way to do it. But I actually have another idea to like utilize that same concept, but it would be easier to film. So like he's in the room and maybe like, so he's hallucinating, something's happening, and then maybe he like falls back and we see it from like the silhouette. We see him fall back and the camera follows him back, and as his back hits the floor, we break through and we cut to him falling into the water. And so we use a GoPro under the water, like, and we do it at the same exact angle, match cut it, so it looks like he falls through the floor into an underground pool. And then it's all cloudy and bubbly underneath the water. We only film under the water, and then he comes up, and as he comes up out of the water, he's back in the room and he's soaking wet, but the room is completely dry and the water is still in the center of the room. So that way it's like he's almost transported somewhere under the water, right?
Yeah, that'd be really cool too. I was trying to think of the actual way you could film it happening, but I had another way that you could do it with water, like just because it's tying it to the blue liquid, so it has to be something with water. What if it was like from the roof of the box, there's like water droplets. It starts off as like water droplets kind of pooling on it, like condensation almost, and they start coming down, and eventually it turns into like rain almost coming from the top of the box.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, it's almost like when you have rabies and he's like afraid, like he doesn't want to drink the water because is something in his brain is telling him not to drink it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That one might need a little bit more thought behind it, but
I like the idea of the rain. If we were filming this inside someone's house, though, like we wouldn't be able to like pour water all over their house, unless we did like unless we filmed that scene in front of a green screen outside while it was actually raining, and then just replace the background and try to match it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That one, it just doesn't seem worth it for the effect. I just thought, like in my head, I was like, man, that'd be kind of cool if it was like raining inside this sealed box and he was just it's like flooding him with water that it's like what you want but you can't have, like type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we should probably go back to, okay, the character's name is Joel. We should go back to him as a person, because I think if we understand his like backstory or his needs and desires, that the hallucination will make more sense for us because it'll be the thing that he needs to see to make him go mad, right?
Mhm.
We're trying to like come up with what kind of hallucination to make them want to drink the water, or a metaphor or hypothetical like analogy when it comes to the water. But I feel like we're looking in the wrong place. We should be looking at his psyche.
I have a cool idea, but it's like kind of dark.
Let's do it.
Okay, imagine our character's name is Joel, right?
Yeah.
Okay, imagine that he's like middle-aged and he was a father, and he had a very like nice little tight family. He was his first child, and I forgot what it's called, but what is it called when like you sleep with your baby, just like
SIDS.
Imagine he accidentally slept on his baby, and his baby passed away, and he feels a lot of guilt for it, and he's no longer with his girlfriend, and or with his wife or whatever, and he's working at like some low-end job, and like in the vision like we hear a lot of like baby crying and like arguments or something. I don't know, kind of dark, but I feel like that would be kind of a cool dynamic. I don't know.
I really like that idea.
Yeah, I think that'd be really, because it's kind of like, that's a horrible thing to have happen, but it's also like he put the baby there, he put it in that situation, he's living with that regret. So,
well, I think it's something it's horrifying because of the situation, but it's not like it's something that happens. My wife's sister, it happened to her.
Oh, wow.
And so it's a very relatable story.
Yeah.
And I think that that to me as a parent, and also having seen it actually happen in real life to someone who is in my family, that's the worst thing that ever could, like, I would kill myself. Like straight up. And so if that's what he's wrestling with, if the blue liquid, and then also like that also gives up, it gets deeper into the whole like idea of the soul too. If he's like, maybe he doesn't feel like his soul is even worth protecting, and so he's willing to drink it.
And honestly, what you could, if you wanted to pull any sort of message from the film, what you could pull from it, I guess, if you really put the pieces together of it, is it could be how people would deal with the grief of something that horrible, locking themselves in their own head, not wanting to do anything, not wanting to like eat, drink. It's like they're just in their head and they can't do anything. And then the blue liquid is like the worst of it, obviously, if they got to the lowest point, which then they would kill themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I don't know, that it almost like fits perfectly if you followed it with that like at being the backstory, if you wanted to pull some sort of message from the film.
Well, it got dark, but it also, that's what you got to do when you're writing a story.
Yeah.
Dude, I love it. Go ahead.
I think what would be so cool is like, can you imagine if the hallucination, like he was in the hallucination almost in the way that the main character in Interstellar is like watching his old memory, or like not old memory, but he's like
he's watching his children like like 20 years of voicemails.
Oh no, yeah, I mean in the big old like tesseract. Where he's looking at the memory, or not the, how do I say it?
The past.
He's looking at the past and he's messing with the past, but it's not going to change the outcome.
Could you imagine if, like, for one of these hallucinations, or it's something that the being is doing to him, he's like laying in the corner, and then he sees a glass, like one of the walls is now a glass like wall, and on the other side of it is his bedroom where it happened, if you wanted to go with that backstory. And maybe he's like re-witnessing it and he can't do anything to like stop it or something like that.
Oof.
That would be like psychological torture to somebody if they were in that situation.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, so all of the hallucinations kind of point back towards that trauma in his past.
Mhm.
And so maybe in the beginning it's more subtle, and then right about the midpoint it becomes more clear, and then it slowly gets more and more clear without actually coming out and saying it.
Right.
We need to continue to drop more and more obvious hints, and then by the end he drinks the liquid, right?
Oh, bro.
Because I imagine one of them is like, so if we're in a room, we're in a big empty room, and then all of a sudden, like, he turns around and his bed is in the middle of the room, and the sheets are messy, and in the middle of the bed there's a big lump that's covered by, it could be a pillow, right?
Yeah.
It's just a big lump that's covered by the covers,
Or a
So-
silhouette that has like a sheet draped over it.
Ooh, dude, I got goosebumps. Oh my God. And so, yeah, he slowly walks towards it and he whips it off. And when he whips it off, it like cuts to his reaction, and then it cuts back and he's staring at the bottle of blue liquid. Like, so it's almost like, because yeah, like you said, if you could see, it's a thin white sheet, you can see the silhouette of a baby, but you can't see. Oh my God, I need water.
Dude, okay. Imagine if, like, as a part of the climax, if when he drinks the blue liquid, we almost show, like, a moment where he wakes up the day his baby died and his baby was alive, like, in his head, while he's passing out or dying or whatever we were saying. Like, imagine, like, these beings were almost offering him, like, a reality where that didn't happen.
As right when
Yeah.
the being eats him, right when you see the mouth close, it cuts to black, and then it cuts, and then you hear them playing, and then it cuts to them like at the park or something, and he's playing with her, and then like that sound, like with the credits roll over that
would be so
maybe even they're out of focus in the background and the credits are just rolling.
Yeah, that would be sick,
dude. Okay, let's write this down. Oh, my knee. Okay.
Oh man.
So Joel wakes up in a room, has no windows or doors. He begins to panic. He yells, blah 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 blah. Black void. Instead of him hearing a whisper, he hears a baby.
Yeah.
Is it a baby crying?
Oh, they could be. Oh man, bro, these freaking beings are like torturing him. Holy.
Oh, okay. This was unintentional, but the fact that he punches his fist through the wall and he starts bleeding, like, I feel like that would be a very natural reaction for a man who wakes up and sees that, like, so emotional, can't control his like emotions so much that he has to hit something and he just punches a wall.
Yeah.
It's so hard that he punches all the way through to his. And then what's behind it? It's not, can't fix that pain. It's just a black void right behind it. It's almost, dude, it's like lines up perfectly. We didn't even plan that.
That's insane.
Okay, so when he falls asleep, before he snaps awake hours later, we're gonna put that there. Oh, we're gonna put that. Oops. He's going to maybe he has his first dream hallucinate, like he actually dreams.
Oh,
what could his dream be? Is it like actually a memory of the past, or is it?
Oh, dude, that's how we give our viewer information on the events. Is like, what if his dreams were following some of, like, maybe his first dream is like the events before his second dream the day of, the third dream the day after, or something. Like that's how we could communicate.
You could also do it in like a reverse. So what if the first dream was like after it had already happened, after he already killed after he accidentally suffocated the baby? Maybe he's like in a hospital and he's like slumped up against the corner of the wall and he's like obviously devastated, but you don't know what about. You have no information at that point to what it's about.
That could be cool. And then like it's building up, and then the last dream is when you reveal to the viewer like what actually happened.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I see.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that because have you seen Irreversible?
No.
Irreversible.
Dude, you guys you have very dark tastes, so I feel comfortable enough telling you about Irreversible. It is the most brutal films, and it's told backwards. You see the end of the movie first, and then you see what happens before that, and then you see what happens before that.
I've heard about this movie. I was gonna watch it.
Bro, watch it.
Yeah, I heard about it.
It's messed up
on TikTok.
Okay, I really like that, and let me just pitch you guys this image that I had as one of the dreams, and I like that idea, Logan. So maybe this could be the last dream or the second to last dream, but not showing anything, but hearing it. And so we talked about the white sheet, and now imagine he falls asleep, it's completely black, and then you hear a woman scream bloody murder because she just found her baby. And then we cut to like a bright morning, but the camera is like canted and angled and looking up, and there's a sheet like flying through the air, and you just kind of see the silhouette of somebody run by, and then you hear weeping and just crying and screaming, and you just see the sheet, and you hear the commotion, the footsteps, and like, but you don't see anything, and you just hear like the aftermath.
Yeah.
And then he wakes up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That
I think
would be
that's
insane.
yeah.
And then the first one, like you said, is at the hospital maybe, and
Because it would have to be so far after it that he's already discovered it. He's already like taken the baby to somewhere, and it's like it's over. There's nothing he can do about it from that point on. But it still is so fresh that he's like not able to like do anything about it. He's just thinking about it, processing it. Like, I mean, how anybody would be right after somebody they love died.
yeah. How could we show his isolation visually?
Because like for the very first dream, I was thinking, I have a really specific memory in mind. That's why I said slumped up in the corner. I remember going to a hospital one time, and I don't think it was for anything serious, but actually no, I do remember what it was for. It was my grandfather was in the hospital, and we were going to see him, and I might have been maybe like 6 or 7 years old. And I remember seeing somebody, it was like the first time in my life I'd ever seen somebody so defeated and like depressed that they were like showing that in real life in public. And it was a dad or a father or somebody who was literally, it was like this hallway was like like a tube window that you walked through, and he was like crouched, like laid up against the window, and he was just crying to himself. And I saw that in real life, and that's what I was thinking about. It's like that seems like how somebody would react once it's all said and done, and there's nothing you can do about it, and you're just processing it. That seems like a human reaction to that happening.
I agree.
Because that could also show that he's not a bad person. Like, he wasn't a bad father. It was just a simple. It was like it could happen to anybody, and it happened to him.
Yeah. maybe we could do some type of a match cut where if he's slumped up or if he's in the fetal position of some sort, and we can do a kind of a zoom out.
Yeah.
And then we cut back to the room and he's in the same position.
We need a sound bite that is produced by the room that is like almost in the way that the back rooms has like the buzzing fluorescent lights. Like we need something.
Why not use that?
We could.
Because you said there is a light at the top, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, there has to be. The first thing I said was like, imagine. It's kind of dumb. I was like, imagine if there's light in the room with no light.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know about all that.
Because like the way I was thinking about it was there's probably a singular hole at the top of the roof that has light coming out of it that's somehow filling the whole room. But I don't know. I feel like that's probably the only way you could have it be lit and have it make sense.
Yeah.
Would they be in the hospital?
That is true. Like it could be anywhere. He probably wouldn't have to be in the hospital. That was just the first thing that popped in my head.
Well, it makes sense, like exposition wise, to put it in the hospital because it's like, oh, like what happened? He's in the hospital. Somebody died.
Yeah.
Like that's initially boom in your brain. Somebody died. Could be at a funeral.
Or it could be in his house and we see a bunch of boxes everywhere and then we hear a car drive off. Like almost like his wife has left him and he's like bawling his eyes out in the corner or something. I don't know.
That could be one of the big moments where you can actually, it gives you a big piece of it. Because like what if the boxes had like, maybe one of the boxes was taped but it had like stuffed animals poking out of the top of it, kind of like it was so full that it was taped. Or like maybe the boxes had like a name on it or something and it said stuff or something like that was like baby stuff in boxes. But it's like little things that if you were paying close enough attention you could see it.
Yes, I agree.
Oh.
I was even gonna say like have one of the boxes be like just blatantly a crib box.
Yeah, that's it.
Like have it put underneath a bunch of other boxes.
It could be a crib that was folded down and kind of like put on top of some stuff.
And we want to keep that kind of stuff vague, because I imagine like I'm trying to compose the shot in my head. Like we don't want to have him walk up and put a box down and he like glances down and the camera racks down and you see like a stuffed animal leg sticking out of it. That's too blatantly obvious, right?
Right.
Instead, we could go with
when Robert said you hear stuff going off, I was thinking like camera at like maybe floor level almost, so you can just see like his feet, her feet, and then you hear her like yell at him or something and then walk out of the door and then he walks away and then maybe the camera comes maybe not back into focus, but I was going to say it's like the entire shot is on the floor. You can see the boxes in frame, you can see their legs in frame, then she walks away after she slams the door, he walks away, so you can see everything all the time, but it would be so subtle that you would have to like be like looking at the box, reading what it says, or you would see something poking out, or you would have to like look and be like, oh, that's a crib or something like that. Because that way, I feel like that's better than having a moving shot, because a moving shot feels not right for like a depressing flashback. Usually they're like still shots, like they're almost like somebody witnessing it happen.
That's a great point. That's a really good point, because I was going to argue back and like say, what if we had the first shot be it's like an outside shot and she's walking away from the house and he's standing in the doorway, and then when he closes the door we cut to the like matching shot back in the house and he turns around and he walks towards the camera, but then the camera moves with him, so as he walks into the room it reveals the boxes.
Yeah. But
I think that's a good point that you're making, because having it be more of like a fly in the wall, less cinematic.
It's like you can definitely do cinematic flashbacks. You can make them work really well. But I don't know. There's just like to me at least, there's something about like a silent watcher like looking from like a still position on something happening that signals more that it's something that's already happened, or it's like a flashback, or it's you're watching an event unfold. I don't know.
I agree. But I was thinking maybe instead of keeping it at their feet, though, maybe it could be like the camera maybe could be sitting on the cardboard box, and then part of the lens is obstructed by the box. Maybe even like the kid's name, but it's out of focus. Or I don't know, like you said, we see another box in the corner with a little stuffed animal. And then we see the argument over in the corner by the front door, and then she leaves, and then he walks over into view, and then he just kind of like walks into the perfect spot, like on the screen that we want him, so he's close enough, like maybe a medium long shot, and he just like falls to the ground and starts weeping.
Yeah, that would work really well.
Okay, so in his dream, the camera is sitting in a cardboard box. Joel is fighting his wife. We cannot make out what they are saying. She leaves, and he walks back into view. He falls to the ground and begins to weep. Match cut back to the room. We cut to a close-up of Joel. He slowly opens his eyes. He glances around and notices where he is. He jumps to his feet. So like it's almost like so. This is maybe day 2.
Yeah.
And just as a note. Okay, so something's going to happen in day 2. And then maybe we have another dream. And then the hallucination gets worse.
The progression of the hallucinations is each one is getting more violent as the days go on, or something like that. Each one is progressively getting more and more like violent to him. Like he feels like he's in a dangerous situation.
The hallucinations.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, how do we lead to this next hallucination? He just wakes up from his dream. What's going to happen first? He looks as he slows his breathing, settling back into his situation. He glances into the center of the room at the bottle of blue liquid.
Okay.
Because, like, he's in a room by himself. So maybe this is going to be a montage right here leading into the midpoint, which I think should be the hallucination of the bed with the silhouette.
Yeah.
What do you think? Is that too obvious right there, or is that a good point?
I think it's a good point.
Okay, what do you think of this, Logan? The walls, I'm trying to incorporate every element that we've gone over. The walls begin to flex. He drops to the floor in fear and like covers his head, and we get with the camera right there on the floor with him at floor level. And so we can't see anything in the room, so we could technically not be in that room.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the blue liquid from that perspective come and like onto the floor and come towards him and get in his mouth, and he goes "Ugh!" and he like just jumps up, and it's like that way we incorporate that into it.
Yeah. That would
but
work.
we don't have to like flood the whole room. It's like just a little taste, right?
Right. Yeah, that would work. No, that would be really good too. Because it doesn't even have to be just like the amount that's in there. It could just be like a running like amount that's like coming towards his mouth, and it's like getting into it, and then that's when he freaks out and he gets up and he realizes what's happening. It's like his self hallucinating, trying to drink it because he's so dehydrated and thirsty. And then Robert, I don't know if there was any specific hallucinations that you really want, because like I know you wanted to do the fold of the wall, like going into it. Like you said, you wanted to have something like you could see it like in the fold of the wall, or like you wanted to. Is that what you said? Or you said you wanted to? What was it you said you wanted? Like as one of the hallucinations or something?
I think, you know what would be so scary is like, you know when you see almost like a cat that's about to pounce.
Yeah.
You know how they get in that pounce state? Imagine if just like in the middle of the wall it like flexed like how vinyl would, like a bouncy house, and you just see like a human in that like pounce position, but like it's obviously like not a human.
It's just like a humanoid like thing
In the fold of the wall, or like me and Peter were talking about it, like it could spawn, and then I think it's actually
it'd be really cool. It's to keep that same kind of, because when you say vinyl, I think what you mean is canvas. You know, like how bouncy houses are made out of like a canvas, like kind of thick, or like a really thick.
It's called vinyl.
Yeah, or whatever. What could you imagine if it was like the wall is rigid, it looks like a flat wall, and then from the inside, so it would look like this in reality, but this is like what you would see. The wall's like this, and then you see like these fingers coming through the wall outward, kind of like they're peering up through, like they're ripping it open, but like it's like folding back.
Are you talking like almost like I don't know if you've seen that movie. Did you watch the Deadpool and Wolverine movie?
Yeah.
You watched, you know the scene where she like shoves her fingers in their like face?
Yeah.
Talking like that almost.
Well, it starts off like that. It starts off as you see the wall here, or like this, and then you see one thing kind of like peek through, like a tiny, like maybe like a fingernail or something, and then the rest of it is the wall beginning to kind of take that vinyl shape, like, or that vinyl feel, like you were talking about, and it gets like folded in as the hand is coming out of it. So that it's folding around the hand as the hand is coming out of it.
That would be super freaky, bro.
I wonder, would you try to hand animate that? That would be crazy.
Yeah, I'd be down to do that. I'm trying to. That's what I was trying to think about right now. It's like how would.
Yeah, I was also thinking. I was like, how is that even going to work practically?
I feel like it's kind of easy, or not like easy, but like, I'll just figure out all the simulation stuff, and I'll figure out. I'll probably do like a cloth simulation.
You could always, if we really wanted to go with like that, like I don't know, the animated route, Blender, I guess. Blender would probably be the best way to animate that happening, because then you could just make that. It's like a still image of that one wall where the hand is coming out of it, and it could all be a Blender render.
Yeah.
But that'd be really, really hard to do. I don't know.
Well, they, dude, do you guys watch Corridor Crew?
Yeah.
Man, the stuff that they do in like Blender and in Unreal, it's unreal.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They use the phones, the LiDAR on the phones, and they scan the rooms, and they recreate it in Blender, and they match it to the actual footage, and they create their camera, and they really lay it out for you, the entire process. And so, I mean, we have all the tools to do it. It just it's going to take practice.
Right.
Okay, so I've got, after he wakes up, he starts pacing, biting his fingernails, glaring at the liquid, and suddenly the walls begin to flex. And he drops to the ground, covers his head in fear. Suddenly, blue liquid floods the floor and rushes towards his face. It gets in his mouth. He jumps up, spitting. And he screams, then begins panting, catching his breath. Then he snaps his head back to the center of the room. where he hallucinates and sees a messy bed appears in the center of the room. Joel looks at it confusingly. He slowly walks over to the bed. We can see under a thin white sheet the silhouette of a baby motionless. Therefore, he reaches his arm out slowly, gripping the sheet, then pulls the sheet off. Slam cut to his reaction, then cut back to what he sees, the bottle of blue liquid.
Oh, dude, I'm just thinking about the score. The friggin' music, dude. Can't get out of that.
Of course you are.
I cannot get out of that headspace, man.
Okay. Maybe we just see a single tear, like he just stares. And then we fade to black. And then we see another dream.
That's also how we could probably speed it up by also showing the dreams, so we can fit in like all these as we want. It's like dream, his reaction to it after he wakes up, and then it's like one after the other. They're happening, but you're seeing his reaction after every time, and he's slowly getting more and more like, I don't know, disturbed by it to the point where he's inside the box. He's actually going crazy because of the dreams and the hallucinations together.
Mm-hmm. And then, what's the decision though? Why does he drink the juice?
He wants it all to stop. Is probably the best thing I could say.
What's going to be the thing that triggers him into actually snapping? It's because it has to be like happening right then and there. And then he's just like, ah, and then he grabs it. Or like it's happening and he's like laughing like as a crazy person as he walks over and, and he starts drinking it like that.
Yeah. So like, I feel like him drinking it should be deliberate, whether or not he's in a hallucinative state. I feel like he needs to make the decision to drink it on his own, whether or not he's in the middle of a hallucination or not. So even if he's hallucinating, it is the bottle, and he is drinking it. So, because I feel like that, if he's hallucinating, and then he drinks it out of a hallucination, it feels like, what was the point of giving him the choice? Why not just force him to drink it? Because that's essentially what they did. Is he hallucinated to the point where he's forced to drink it? And I feel like the whole point of the blue liquid is it's a choice. It's you either are going to go slowly or you're going to end it quickly. And then obviously that's also going to play in with the monster because it's going to eat him, like at the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
So then what should be the second? Should we do 3 dreams then? Okay, so pacing wise, let me just try to imagine how long this is already. It's maybe 1.5 minutes. Maybe another 2 minutes.
That's the other thing is, what was the time limit we were thinking? Is there one, or are we just going based off how long we think it'll be?
I always think that a short film should be under 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Partially because of attention spans, partially because of
you don't want it to drag out too much.
Well, yeah, pacing, attention spans, partially also because of the festival circuit. If you have a 10-minute film, then it's going to fit perfectly in front of a feature film. But if you have a 30-minute film, they're going to have to screen it by itself, which takes up a screening. But they can slip your film into multiple screenings if it's only 10 minutes or less.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, it's also a good challenge as a filmmaker to work within limitations of like time, because otherwise you're gonna have like auteurs who make like their 4-hour films, right? And I mean, there's a time and place for it, but it shouldn't be every single short film that you make. It should be the ones that you're like, I literally I cannot cut a single shot from this, otherwise my vision has not been seen through. But most often than not, it's like you can probably cut at least a third of your baby, and the story will still be good.
Because like, I honestly, when we wrapped Alone and the editing was done, I was really surprised at how long it was. I wasn't like mad about it or anything. I was just like, I can't believe that we were able to make a 30-minute long almost short film in about we shot it in about, like, I want to say a week and a half.
It's really impressive. Especially after everything that happened during the filming.
There was like, don't get us wrong, we don't have like a steel will. There was a few times where we were debating whether or not we should end it, because we were getting to a low point, and then we powered through it and finished. But it was definitely not not a smooth road.
I'm glad that you finished it.
This is
you can move forward. I think that we might be at around 7 minutes, to be honest,
on the short film.
I feel like there needs to be 3 dreams. There's something about the number 3.
It's a good number, man.
And one of them, I think maybe the last one should be the one of the sheet and you hearing what happens. But do we need... Okay, so what's going to be another hallucination that happens? Maybe we don't need 3. Maybe we do that dream right now. Then we have one last hallucination that really pushes him over the edge and leads him to actually drink the liquid. And then we have the entire closing sequence.
Yeah, that could...
What if the child that appeared was like hinted to be like how old his child would have been?
Well, I'm thinking that we X that scene with the child appearing.
Okay.
I think that it would have worked if we weren't connecting it to his child like dying of SIDS, but having the child be like having like a 5-year-old child actually having a conversation with him. I don't know. And also, having a child actor always complicates things.
I'm trying to think about what the thing, because it has to be something that's happening to him that's pushing him to the point where he, like you said, he just goes screw it and drinks it. Because that's his choice. He made that decision. But the only thing that I can think of is maybe it's like, you know how we heard the baby crying earlier? Like it was a slight one, just like for a second. He hears the baby crying. He sees the bottle in the middle. What if the thing that pushes him is this like overlapping multiple sounds of like this crying, and it's like persistent, like it keeps going and going and going and going, and we just keep it's like on a rise. It's like a rising like tension moment, and it goes into it, and he's literally at the breaking point by this point, because he's been in there for days and he's been having these hallucinations and these dreams. Now this is happening. He doesn't know if it's real. He doesn't know if it's a hallucination, and it pushes him to that point. That's literally the only thing I could think of, at least. I just wanted to put that out there.
The crying. I feel like that would be the obvious thing to do because it's about a baby.
Yeah.
But it's also about a baby who is dead, so there wouldn't be any crying.
Yeah.
You would have just woken up to silence, which is not the thing that you want to hear when you wake up.
Yeah.
But I also will attest to the fact that babies crying is literally torture. And because my youngest just went through like a 6-week growth spurt, and she was crying and whining and fussy the whole time, and it like drove me crazy. It's and now she's finally like back to normal, so it's awesome. But I hate baby crying. It's the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is literally torture. So I definitely think that there's a case for that. Well, I for now put the following beats of the story. I want to add one more thing. I think we could probably get away with this sequence. Either that or we add another dream and another day, which I feel like I want to do, but at the same time, it's like, what do we have him do in the day, right? There's so much day. We're only seeing a tiny snippet of each day. It's like, and we're still like, what does he do? He already paced. He already tried to escape. He already tried to scream for help. What else can you do besides accept your fate?
Yeah.
I think one of the hallucinations that I wrote up here was he begins talking to himself, literally multiple versions of himself walking around the room arguing with each other. And if we put the camera on tripod, we can easily have that interaction where there's like a version of him that's angry and there's a version of him that's sad and there's a version of him and he's just sitting there maybe like this staring. And
that could be good because that could be a big scene that has dialogue in it for the first time. So we're hearing him talk to himself, but you're actually getting to hear what he's thinking and his emotions and how he's dealing with it.
What if after the final dream, he doesn't have to have another hallucination? He wakes up from the dream and it actually makes him just drink the liquid.
Like he's so defeated by that point, he just goes to drink it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that could be pretty sick.
Rather than something that's happening to him, or either that or during the part where he's actually talking to himself, that's actually kind of a cool idea because we get a glimpse into his psyche and the way he's thinking and that he's going crazy. And then like all of a sudden it's like they all start screaming at him at once. And then all of a sudden it's like goes silent and he like looks at the liquid and he just picks it up and drinks it.
Oh, that could be cool. Hearing like the thuds of him walking over could be kind of cool. Like just.
Okay. I think I like this pacing. I don't think we need to add another hallucination or another dream. We definitely could.
Peter, do you own the channel Fanron Official?
No, I did find that though, and I watched all of their videos.
That is so odd. I was literally just going to look at friggin' 935.
All right, one thing to remember is I definitely don't want the dialogue in that scene to be like, you did it, you killed her, blah, blah, blah.
100%.
I want it to be very abstract and like, whereas with Doppelganger, it was very much like that's how we got the exposition across. We have a lot more visuals in this one. We're using a lot more flashbacks and stuff like that. That means the dialogue could be less direct. So
we're also
next time we get on
a time constraint, so we can actually take our time with it.
100%. Wish that we could build it in my garage, but my wife would probably have a fit. But yeah, I think that this beat sheet like really lays it out, and I think it's a good film, and I think it all makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which means that the next time we get on, we should sit down and actually convert this over into the screenplay, and then we can do a read through.
Yeah.